Assalamu alaikum. How are you, dear students? I hope you are all well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also well. Students, welcome to online BGS class. This is Abdul Mannan, Assistant Teacher, Bangladesh and Global Studies, Shamsul Khan School and College, English version. Dear students, today I will take a class on chapter 2, lesson 2 and 3. You know, in our previous class, I have discussed chapter 1, cultural diversity in Bangladesh. Today, I will discuss chapter 2, lesson 2 and 3. Lesson 2 and 3, headline, Rural and Urban Culture of Bangladesh. Rural and Urban Culture, Bangladesh. Today, I will discuss first half part of 2 lesson, Urban Culture of Bangladesh. So, take your book and listen carefully, try to understand. Dear student, at first, we'll know what is rural culture and what is urban culture, because our lesson headline is Rural and Urban Culture of Bangladesh. So, we'll know what is rural culture and what is urban culture. You see in the slide, what is rural culture? The culture that has developed centering the rural areas is called rural culture. That means all of the activities of rural people and the behaviors of rural people are included in rural culture. And the second question, what is urban culture? The culture that has developed centering the urban areas is called urban culture. In the same way, all of the activities of urban people and their behaviors are included of urban culture. Then the next slide you see from our book. Now let's start from book, chapter lesson 2 and 3, Rural and Urban Culture of Bangladesh. This part is the introduction of this lesson. Actually, no, Bangladesh is village-based and urban-based country, but most of the people live in the village area, you know. And once Bangladesh used to be a large village, and agriculture is the main occupation of the village people, and most of the village people depend on agriculture. At this stage, there grow up towns, but the town culture is influenced by the urban culture. Then, later, this condition is changed, and the cities are there, inhabitants start grow up, and the city people and the urban people, they establish the various industry in the urban area, because it's not possible to depend on agriculture of urban people. So they established the various types of industry, and they started to produce the various commodities. And the urban people, city people, rural people, they start to come in the urban area in search of work, and the urban culture and the rural culture, in that time, urban culture and rural culture has been changed. But they are not isolated, they are not separated, the culture from each other. That means the urban culture and the rural cultures are not separated from each other. Then the next slide, you see some picture of rural culture. Students, I have included some picture of rural cultures for your better understanding. And you see in the slide, at first, the traditional rural culture, traditional village, then the present village, the brick built and t-shirt building. Then you see in the slide, a cultivating land farmer by the plow. Then you see agricultural instruments, spade. Then you see a picture, a farmer, they are taking a fiber of jute, and you know, there is a system to take the fiber of jute. And then next picture you see, harvesting crops. This is the machine of harvesting crops. And next picture, irrigation irrigating field, and last one, the power tiller, a tractor for cultivating land, tractor. This is the present time, the farmer, they are used the tractor for cultivating land. These are the rural culture picture. So I think this picture is useful for you to understand the rural culture. Then the next slide we see rural culture of Bangladesh. In the main part of this lesson, rural culture of Bangladesh. We will discuss mainly this part, rural culture of Bangladesh. Actually, you know, Bangladesh mainly rural-based and village-based country, and the people are engaged in various professions. Rural people are engaged in various profession. The different profession of rural peoples are, you see in the slide, farmers, fishermen, blacksmiths, poachers, boatmen, tailors, and the village doctors, snake charmers, exorcists, teachers, businessmen, imams, and clergymen. These are the main profession of the rural people. Then you see the rural culture divided into two parts. The rural culture divided into two parts. Number one, number two. Number one part is socio-economic life-based rural culture, and number two part, festivals and recreational patterns. Socio-economic life-based rural cultures mean social life and economic life. Social life-based rural culture and economic life-based rural culture. And number two, you see festivals and recreational patterns. Okay. The next slide. In the slide, I have included some pictures, and the picture, the rural professions. Various rural professions pictures I included in here. At first picture you see the farmer, fishermen, those who have lived their life to take fish. That the fishermen, you know. In the next picture you see blacksmiths. They make their necessary instruments, their necessary tools. And next picture you see poacher. Poacher make pottery by the clay soil. Then the picture of snake charmers. They show a play of snake. They have shown. They are the snake charmers. And the next picture is exorcist. They remove the exorcist. And the next picture, clergyman. Clergyman, the leader of the religious institution, Padri. These are the various professions of the rural area, rural people. Then the next slide is, you will see culture oriented with socio-economic life. Social and economic life. For your better understanding, I have divided this part into three: agriculture, dress up, house building, and communication. First, I will discuss agriculture, agricultural life, agricultural, and then dress up culture, and then I will discuss house building and communication. Okay, first agriculture. Rural life is chiefly oriented with agriculture. As usual, it's mainly agriculture oriented. Some people have their own fields. They have worked their own fields, and some people they have their own fields and they are working and they have worked in other fields. And they produce various crops, and to demand their by these crops, surplus crops they have sold in the market. And earlier people used to plow their lands with cows. The earlier people they used to plow for their land cultivation, plow and with cows. In the next, irrigation used to be done normally, usually. They irrigate their field usually and normally. But now, village farmer, they have used the tractor and power tillers to cultivate their land, and for irrigation they have used shallow machine now at present time. And for this reason, the development are increasing communication with town and cities, and urban culture is gaining influence on rural culture. For this development in agriculture, the close relationship with town and rural area, and the rural culture is influenced on, and the urban culture is influenced on the rural culture. Then the next, a few years back, if you see the few years back, the saying was, Bengali are fond of fish and rice. We are fond of fish and rice, Bengali. Gardens are full with paddy. Laborers used to get their share from each chance of their labor. The laborers used to get their share, the crops, from each chance for their labor. The rivers, streams, ponds are used in fish. But now, at present, this color is changed because for the fertilizer in the field and insecticide, the insecticide and fertilizer mixed water go to the river canals. And for this reason, once upon a time our pond and river is full of fish, but now we cannot see like this because the use of fertilizer, insecticide, and this polluted water go to the fish and go to the canal and river. For this reason, fish is not available in the river and canal. The change. And not only that, villagers try to live on fish, rice, vegetables, fruits, etc. The village people, according to their ability, they try to live on fish, rice, vegetables, fruits, etc. Homemade cakes and pies are prepared for consumption. The traditional culture. Then, next is, you see the slide, culture oriented with socio-economic life. Dress up. I will discuss the dress up. Dress up, the male of village area, they wear as usual lungi, but in the festival they wear short pant, pajama panjabi like this, especially pajama panjabi, and the females they wear shari. I say female generally used to wear cotton shari, but now the urban influence has brought certain changes, and the adolescents and young males wear pants and shorts, and the females used to frocks and silver colors. It's changed, culture is changed, and now rural culture is influenced by the urban culture. Okay, then the three, house building and communication. House building, the rural people, they used for house building brush, but now they use the brick and the tin shed building, they build in the rural area. And the communication, the villagers used to move on foot on communication. Especially they used to for communication. In some areas there are ballot carts, boats for the communication means during the monsoon. They use the ballot carts and boats. Now the roads have been constructed, rickshaw and motor vehicle play them. At present time, the road has been constructed, and the motor rickshaw, and motor vehicles play them. Both now are modified with engines. Now both modified with engines both. Majority of population of Bangladesh are Muslims. They are followed by the Hindus, Buddhists and Christians. Majority of people are Muslim, but Muslims also followed by the Hindus, Buddhists and Christians also now. In rural area, they observe their respective religion live in harmony. With the main point in religious sector, the rural people, they respect their own religion and they live in the harmony. Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, they live in harmony. parts of rural culture: festival and recreation. Festival and recreation. The village people of our country have been observing different kinds of festivals. Village people, there are two types of festival. One is the national festival, another is religious festival. The national festival we see the Boshaki Mela, where in April, which is arranged in April month. The Novanno festival, you see, about the late autumn harvest, and Halkata, opening of new accounts book, Halkata. And not only that, boat race, marriage ceremonies, etc. are also our traditional festival. Earlier, special arrangements for night-long jatra, palagan, and the kobigan also. They arranged the rural area also. The jatra palagan, and kobigan also. This is the traditional festival of the urban culture, urban people. But now it's changed day by day, and urban culture is influenced by the rural culture is influenced by the urban culture. And next festival is religious festival. Most of the people are Muslim in Bangladesh, and the Muslim, they have celebrated two religious festivals, especially Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Besides these two festivals, they have also celebrated Shabi Barat, Shabi Qadar, Eid al-Nabi also. And the Hindu, they celebrate various puja, Durga Puja, Kali Puja, Lakshmi Puja, Rash Jatra, Dom Jatra, various types of festival, religious festival they have celebrated, Hindus people. And Buddhists and Christianity, Buddhists also, they have followed the Gautam Buddha, and Buddha Purnima is their main festival. And Christian, they have main festival is the Christmas Day. Dear student, now I will include some festival pictures. You see the Eid festival, and then you see Halkata, traditional Guru festival, and you see Novanno festival, like this. Then last one, Boshaki. These are the rural festival. Okay, so dear students, today I have discussed the rural culture of Bangladesh, and I have given there some homework. You see, you will do this homework at your home. At first, you will prepare one-word question and answer. One-word question and answer is like MCQ without option. You will prepare 15. Then summarize the socio-economic life-oriented culture of rural areas. Just summary, socio-economic culture of rural areas. And the next, write festivals and recreational culture of Bangladesh. You will write festival and recreational culture of Bangladesh. These three things you will prepare at your home as a SW homework. Okay, students, it's all for today. Thank you all.